I think I was quite happy to buy into the idea of reinvention up until the beginning of the 80s, really. And it came about, I think, more than anything else, that when I was a teenager.
David Bowie, a name that conjures visions of dazzling artistry, musical brilliance, and an unparalleled legacy. With his electrifying performances and ever-evolving personas, Bowie didn't just capture the spotlight, he redefined it. Yet, behind the shimmering facade lies a deeply human story, rich with personal struggles, intimate relationships, and poignant goodbyes. In this video, we invite you to embark on a captivating journey through the extraordinary life of David Bowie. We'll traverse his meteoric rise to fame in the 1960s, delve into the creation of his iconic alter egos, and uncover the tender moments that colored his final days. As we reflect on the heart-rending last words he shared with his family, prepare to be profoundly moved. This is not just a celebration of a musical genius. It's a tribute to the man who faced the complexities of life with unmatched courage and creativity. So grab your tissues and join us as we honor the unforgettable legacy of David Bowie, a true legend whose spirit continues to inspire. Little Davy Jones. David Robert Jones, better known as David Bowie, was born on January 8, 1947, in Brixton, London. His mother, Margaret Mary "Peggy" Burns, worked as a waitress in a cinema, which may have sparked Bowie's interest in entertainment. His father, Haywood Stanton John Jones, was a promotions officer for Barnardo's, influencing Bowie's compassion for others. The family lived modestly on Stansfield Road, where Bowie began his education at Stockwell Infant School. Known for his individuality, he also had a wild side and was recognized for his musical talent. In 1953, the family moved several times before settling in Sundridge Park in 1955, where Bowie attended Burnt Ash Junior School. Although his singing wasn't exceptional, he excelled in playing the recorder and dancing. This impressed his teachers with his artistic flair. Music became central to Bowie's life when his father brought home a collection of American records. This ignited his passion, especially after hearing Little Richard's Tutti Frutti. A pivotal moment occurred when Bowie saw his cousin Christina dance to Elvis Presley's Hound Dog. Captivated, they spent hours dancing to records, fully absorbed in the music. By late 1957, Bowie learned to play the ukulele and tea-chest bass and began performing locally. His father supported his dreams. He introduced him to performers preparing for the Royal Variety performance. After Burnt Ash Junior School, Bowie attended Bromley Technical High School. Here, teacher Owen Frampton encouraged creative exploration. Bowie's half-brother Terry Burns also significantly influenced him. He introduced David to modern jazz, Buddhism, and beat poetry. In 1961, after being inspired by Terry, Bowie's mother bought him a Grafton saxophone, marking the beginning of his musical journey. A life-changing incident in 1962 occurred when Bowie was injured in a fight with his friend George Underwood over a girl. The fight left Bowie with a permanently dilated left pupil, giving him his iconic different-colored eyes. Despite the incident, Bowie and Underwood remained close friends, and Underwood later created artwork for some of Bowie's early albums, Farthingale and Proto-Punk. David Bowie is celebrated as one of the most innovative artists in music history. His musical journey began in his teenage years, marked by creativity and experimentation. Bowie studied under avant-garde theater teacher Lindsay Kemp. This led him to explore various forms of performance, including creating distinct personas. One of his early songs, Over the Wall We Go, was a satirical take on life in a British prison. In 1968, Bowie formed the group Feathers with Hermione Farthingale and John Hutchinson, blending folk music and poetry. Following a breakup with Farthingale, he shifted his focus and collaborated with Mary Finnegan. This marked a significant change in his music style. Bowie toured with Mark Bolan's Tyrannosaurus Rex in 1969 and co-founded a folk club that attracted a diverse crowd. His manager, Kenneth Pitt, attempted to produce a film titled Love You Till Tuesday, but it wasn't released until 1984. During a challenging period, Bowie wrote Space Oddity, which became a major hit shortly before the Apollo 11 launch. It earned him a contract with Mercury Records. His second album, titled David Bowie, was released in November 1969, but did not achieve commercial success. In April 1969, he married Angela Barnett, who influenced his life and career. Bowie formed a new band called Hype, but after a disastrous opening gig, he returned to solo performance and hired new band members. This led to legal battles with Pitt. Bowie's third album, The Man Who Sold the World, released in 1970, marked a shift to a hard rock style and explored themes of paranoia. His androgynous style gained attention during a publicity tour in the States. Inspired by Iggy Pop and Lou Reed, Bowie created his iconic Ziggy Stardust character. His next album, Hunky Dory, released in 1971, blended art pop and melodic rock. It included lighter tracks like Kooks, written for his son Duncan, while also addressing serious themes. Despite its artistic merit, the album initially struggled commercially due to limited promotion from the record label. Introducing glam rock. Dressed in a striking costume and sporting reddish-brown hair, Bowie launched the Ziggy Stardust stage show with his band The Spiders from Mars on February 10, 1972. The show was a massive hit, catapulting Bowie to stardom during a UK tour over the next 6 months. David Buckley described this as a cult of Bowie, emphasizing its unique influence. In June 1972, Bowie released The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The single Starman, which he performed on Top of the Pops, helped him break into the UK music scene. The album remained in the charts for 2 years, often alongside Hunky Dory. Bowie continued to write music, releasing the non-album single John I'm Only Dancing and producing All the Young Dudes for Mott the Hoople. He gained further acclaim in the US. Here he collaborated with other artists, including providing backing vocals and guitar on Lou Reed's Transformer. In 1973, Bowie released Aladdin Sane, which became his first UK #1 album and included hits like The Jean Genie. Bowie's acting passion influenced his music and performances. He often became fully immersed in his characters. He noted that being Ziggy Stardust was more comfortable than being himself, but this emotional connection took a toll. As he played Ziggy for a long time, he struggled to separate the character from his identity, saying Ziggy wouldn't leave me alone for years. The later Ziggy shows featured theatrical moments. These included such as Bowie wearing a sumo wrestling loincloth and simulating with Ronson's guitar. On July 3, 1973, during a concert at London's Hammersmith Odeon, Bowie shocked fans by announcing it would be his last show as Ziggy. This marked a dramatic retirement of the character. After breaking up with the Spiders from Mars, Bowie was ready to move on. His past music, including the re-release The Man Who Sold the World and Space Oddity, became highly sought after. Life on Mars. From Hunky Dory reached #3 on the UK singles chart in June 1973. His novelty record, The Laughing Gnome, also climbed to #6 in September. His album, Pin-Ups, released in October 1973, featured covers of his favorite songs from the 1960s, producing a UK #3 hit with Sorrow and making Bowie the best-selling act of 1973 in the UK, with 6 albums on the chart simultaneously. 80s and beyond. David Bowie, known for his unique talent and style, made a significant impact in the music world during the late 1970s and 1980s. His celebrated album Scary Monsters and Super Creeps was released in 1980. It featured the #1 single Ashes to Ashes, which revived the character Major Tom from his earlier hit Space Oddity. The song highlighted the innovative guitar and synthesizer work of Chuck Hammer. While visiting the London club Blitz, the hub of the new romantic movement, Bowie sought fresh talent for the Ashes to Ashes music video. He recruited Steve Strange, the lead singer of Visage. The video became a landmark in music history. It showcased a more direct musical and lyrical approach compared to Bowie's earlier Berlin albums. Featuring legendary guitarists Robert Fripp and Pete Townshend, Scary Monsters topped the UK albums chart for the first time since Diamond Dogs. It achieved a perfect balance between artistic creativity and mainstream success, as noted by author Buckley. In 1981, Bowie collaborated with Queen to create the hit Under Pressure, his third UK #1 single. He also took on the lead role in the BBC adaptation of Bertolt Brecht's play Baal, releasing a 5-track EP showcasing his artistic range. The following year, he contributed the title song for the film Cat People, which reached the top 30 in the UK. By 1983, Bowie reached new heights with the release of Let's Dance, co-produced by Nile Rodgers. This platinum album included 3 successful singles: the title track, Let's Dance, Modern Love, and China Girl. Each song had captivating music videos, with Let's Dance resonating with youth and China Girl receiving heavy MTV rotation. The album featured a prominent guitar performance by then-unknown Stevie Ray Vaughan. After the success of Let's Dance, Bowie embarked on the Serious Moonlight Tour. It drew huge crowds and earned recognition at the 1984 MTV Video Music Awards, where he received the inaugural Video Vanguard Award. In 1984, he released Tonight, collaborating with Iggy Pop and Tina Turner. This dance-oriented album produced the hit Blue Jean, inspiring the short film Jazzin' for Blue Jean. This short film had Bowie playing 2 roles and won a Grammy for Best Short-Form Music Video. In early 1985, Bowie worked with the Pat Metheny Group on This Is Not America. It became a top 40 hit and made a memorable appearance at Live Aid with Mick Jagger. There they performed Dancing in the Street, which topped the UK charts and reached number 7 in the US. Bowie's journey continued into the late 1980s with his role in Absolute Beginners, a film for which he performed the title song, reaching number 2 in the UK. He starred in the fantasy film Labyrinth, contributing 5 original songs to its soundtrack. In 1987, he released Never Let Me Down, which blended pop rock with a harder edge but was later referred to by Bowie as his nadir. Following the mixed reviews of Tonight and Never Let Me Down, Bowie sought to revitalize his career by forming the hard rock group Tin Machine in 1989. However, the band struggled to find its footing, leading Bowie to dissolve it and return to his solo career, sparking a resurgence of creativity and success in the 1990s. Acting and other projects. David Bowie was not only a legendary musician but also an accomplished actor. He appeared in over 30 films, television shows, and theatrical productions throughout his career. His approach to acting was productively selective. He often opted for cameos and supporting roles instead of leading parts. He described his film career as splashing in the kids' pool, indicating that he enjoyed the experience without the pressure of major roles. Bowie preferred working with art house directors. He once remarked that a cameo for Martin Scorsese brought him more satisfaction than a role in a James Bond film. Many critics believed that had Bowie focused solely on acting, he could have achieved great success in that field. Others felt his best contributions to film were his songs. They featured in movies like Lost Highway, A Knight's Tale, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and Inglourious Basterds. Bowie's acting career began to gain attention around the same time as before his musical breakthrough. His first film was a short black-and-white piece called The Image, which he later described as awful. In 1967 and 1968, he performed in the theatrical production Pierrot in Turquoise. He also had walk-on roles in a BBC drama and the film adaptation of The Virgin Soldiers. His first significant role came in Nicholas Roeg's The Man Who Fell to Earth, where he played an alien named Thomas Jerome Newton. During this time, Bowie struggled with a severe cocaine addiction, making it difficult for him to fully grasp his character. However, critics praised his performance, and it has become one of his most recognized roles. In 1978, Bowie starred in Just a Gigolo, but the film failed to impress him or audiences. From 1980 to 1981, he played Joseph Merrick in the Broadway production of The Elephant Man. This earned critical acclaim for his unmade-up performance. He appeared as himself in the biographical film Christiane F., a movie about a young girl's drug addiction. This film featured music from his Berlin albums. Bowie also had notable roles in 3 films in 1983, as a vampire in The Hunger, as Major Jack Selliers in Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and a cameo in Yellowbeard. In 1985, Bowie played a hitman in Into the Night and declined a role in the James Bond film A View to a Kill. He starred in the rock musical Absolute Beginners and portrayed the Goblin King in Jim Henson's Labyrinth. This film, despite its poor initial reception, later gained a cult following. He played Pontius Pilate in Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. His brief appearance still left a lasting impression. In the 1990s, Bowie took on various roles, including an FBI agent in Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, Andy Warhol in Basquiat, and a feared gunfighter in Il Mio West. He also voiced characters in the video game Omicron, The Nomad's Soul, which remains his only video game appearance. In 2000, he played a neighbor to a terminally ill boy in Mr. Rice's Secret and appeared as himself in Zoolander and Extras. In 2006, he portrayed Nikola Tesla in The Prestige and voiced the villain Maltazard in Arthur and the Invisibles. Bowie's last film appearance was a cameo in Bandslam in 2009. After his death, filmmakers expressed regret at not being able to cast him in various projects such as Blade Runner 2049 and Twin Peaks: The Return. Bowie's influence on film and music continues to resonate with fans and creators alike. In addition to his acting, Bowie was a talented painter and art collector. He moved to Switzerland in 1976, where he focused more on his art and produced many postmodernist pieces. His first solo art exhibition occurred in 1995, showcasing his unique style. Bowie also founded 21 Publishing in 1997 and contributed writings to various media, including essays on artists and liner notes for albums. David Bowie's multifaceted career as a musician, actor, and artist has left an indelible mark on the worlds of music and film, inspiring generations of creators. His willingness to explore different avenues of creativity reflects his artistic spirit and passion for the arts. Controversial and outspoken. Online, you'll find many praises for the legendary David Bowie, but it's also important to recognize some of the less flattering aspects of his character. While he was undeniably a music icon, some of his actions have raised concerns about his character. In 1975, Bowie adopted the persona of the Thin White Duke during a time when he made unsettling statements about fascism. He made some controversial remarks in The Spectator regarding fascism and praised historical figures in a way that sparked significant debate. He later blamed his troubling remarks on cocaine addiction. Bowie's personal life also had its issues, including a violent confrontation with his then-wife, Angie, where he allegedly choked her during an argument. While addiction is complex, it shouldn't excuse such behavior. Many sites gloss over his flirtation with fascism. They focus instead on his interracial relationships and criticism of racism in the music industry. However, his past should not be overlooked. While he later addressed issues of racism, some of his earlier comments have been interpreted as problematic. Bowie's flirtation with fascism happened in Berlin, just 30 years after the Nazis' horrific genocides. Despite his controversial past, Bowie was a visionary whose creativity changed the music industry from the 1960s to the 1990s. His struggles with addiction began early. He described himself as having an addictive personality. This led to serious substance abuse, particularly cocaine. By the mid-70s, his addiction visibly affected his health and performance, leading to a noticeable decline. The latter part of the 1970s was marked by attempts to get clean and deep depression, exacerbated by cocaine withdrawal. Bowie later recognized the dangers of his vices. He understood that his family history of mental illness heightened his awareness of his behavior. He candidly reflected on his struggles, acknowledging that no one is immune to addiction. Bowie's journey illustrates that even icons face challenges. His experiences with addiction and his earlier actions serve as important lessons. While his music and legacy are remarkable, it's crucial to view them alongside his complexities and the lessons his life imparts. Personal life and final days. David Bowie, the iconic musician and cultural chameleon, had a colorful personal life marked by 2 significant marriages and several relationships that influenced his music and artistic vision. Bowie married his first wife, Mary Angela Barnett, known as Angie, on March 19, 1970. The couple tied the knot at Bromley Register Office in Bromley, London. They welcomed their son, Duncan, born on May 30, 1971, who was affectionately known as Zoe in his early years. Angie later reflected on their marriage, describing it as one of convenience. She shared, "We got married so that I could get a permit to work. I didn't think it would last, and David said before we got married, 'I'm not really in love with you.' And I thought that was probably a good thing." Bowie himself famously quipped that, "Living with her is like living with a blowtorch." Despite their unconventional beginnings, the marriage had its ups and downs, and it ultimately ended in divorce on February 8, 1980. During the split, David was awarded custody of their son, Duncan. After the divorce, Angie penned a memoir titled Backstage Passes: Life on the Wild Side with David Bowie, offering insights into their turbulent relationship and the rock and roll lifestyle they led. In the early 1990s, after his divorce, Bowie met Somali-American model Iman in Los Angeles, right after his Sound Plus Vision tour in October 1990. Their connection was immediate, and they married in a private ceremony in Lausanne, Switzerland, on April 24, 1992. They later celebrated their union with a solemnized ceremony in Florence on June 6 of the same year. Bowie's marriage to Iman profoundly influenced his music, particularly evident in his 1993 album The Buddha of Suburbia, and tracks like The Wedding Song and Miracle Goodnight. The couple had a daughter, Alexandria Lexi Zara Jones, born on August 15, 2000. They lived primarily in New York City and London, also owning homes in Sydney and Mustique. After Bowie's passing in 2016, Iman expressed her gratitude for how they maintained their individual identities within their marriage, a testament to their strong bond. Before settling down with Iman, Bowie had a rich tapestry of relationships that shaped his personal and artistic life. In 1964, he began a personal and professional relationship with singer Dana Gillespie when he was just 17. Their romance lasted about a decade, during which Bowie wrote the song Andy Warhol for her, and Gillespie provided backing vocals on his iconic album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Even after their romantic relationship ended, they maintained a friendship, and Gillespie fondly reminisced about their time together. Another significant influence in Bowie's life was dancer Lindsay Kemp, whom he met in 1967. Kemp's theatrical lifestyle and emotional expression inspired Bowie to explore the visual aspects of his performances. During this period, Bowie dated Hermione Farthingale, a dancer he met in Kemp's class. Their relationship ended when Farthingale moved to Norway for a film project, leading Bowie to channel his feelings into songs like Letter to Hermione. Interestingly, David and Angie had an open marriage and both dated other people during their time together. Bowie had relationships with several notable women, including models Serinda Fox and Bebe Buell, while Angie had her own encounters. This unconventional arrangement reflected the free-spirited lifestyle they embraced. One of the most important people in Bowie's life was his personal assistant, Corinne Coco Schwab. She worked with him for an impressive 43 years, from 1973 until his death in 2016. Schwab played a crucial role in helping Bowie navigate the complexities of fame and addiction, even helping him quit drugs in the 1970s. Bowie considered her his best friend and dedicated his song, Never Let Me Down, to her. In his will, He left $2 million to Schwab, underscoring the deep bond they shared. Bowie's sex often sparked conversations and debates. He famously declared himself gay in a 1972 interview, becoming an icon in the LGBTQ+ community. He later described himself as bisexual, but later said this declaration was one of the biggest mistakes of his life, suggesting he was more a closet heterosexual. Despite the complexities of identity, Bowie's persona allowed him to explore themes of gender fluidity through his music and art. Bowie also had a keen interest in spirituality, influenced by his half-brother. He explored Buddhism and meditation, finding solace in these practices. In his will, Bowie expressed his wish to be cremated and have his ashes scattered in Bali according to Buddhist rituals. He maintained a curious relationship with God throughout his life, often questioning his beliefs, which also found expression in his music. His final words and wishes. On January 8, 2016, Bowie celebrated his 69th birthday by releasing Black Star. The album was filled with experimental sounds and haunting lyrics, leaving fans curious and captivated. It was clear from the start that this wasn't just another album for Bowie. It was a reflection of his journey and a glimpse into his state of mind. The lead single, also titled Black Star, featured a mysterious music video that raised many questions. Just 2 days later, on January 10, 2016, Bowie passed away at his home on Lafayette Street in New York City. He had been battling liver cancer, which he kept secret from most, including many of his closest friends and fans. Even as he faced this illness, he continued to work on his art, demonstrating his passion for music and creativity. Bowie was diagnosed with liver cancer in 2014 while working on his off-Broadway musical, Lazarus. This diagnosis came as a shock to many, as he had been active and creative during this time. Bowie chose to confide in only a few people, including his family and close collaborators. One of those was Tony Visconti, who had worked with Bowie for many years. Visconti noted that Bowie was bald from chemotherapy when they met to work on Black Star, yet his spirit and drive remained strong. By November 2015, after some initial hope for remission, Bowie learned that his cancer was now incurable. Rather than let this diagnosis define him, Bowie used his remaining time to create art that spoke to his experiences. During the filming of the Lazarus music video, he reportedly chose to stop treatment, focusing instead on finishing his music. His last public appearance was at the opening of his musical, Lazarus, on December 7, 2015, just a month before he died. Black Star has been described as Bowie's farewell letter. The title track, Black Star, is particularly significant. The song includes references to the biblical figure Lazarus, who was raised from the dead by Jesus. This allusion suggests that Bowie was grappling with themes of life, death, and rebirth during the album's creation. The haunting melodies and thought-provoking lyrics reveal a man coming to terms with his fate while still holding on to hope and creativity. The music video for Lazarus features Bowie in a hospital bed, symbolizing his struggle with illness. As he sings about being back from the dead, it's clear that he is reflecting on his own life and what it meant to him. Many fans and critics have pointed to the song and video as powerful representations of his mindset at the time. Black Star has received widespread acclaim and is often hailed as one of the best albums of the 21st century. Critics praised its artistic ambition and emotional depth, noting how it masterfully blends jazz, rock, and experimental music. It serves not only as a farewell but also as a celebration of Bowie's creative spirit. The album has allowed fans to connect with Bowie on a deeper level, understanding his struggles and celebrating his incredible talent. His influence continues to resonate, inspiring countless musicians, artists, and fans around the world. In the end, David Bowie's Black Star stands as a remarkable testament to his life and artistry. This album reflects his journey as an artist and a person, revealing the complex emotions he experienced in his final days. Bowie left behind a legacy of innovation, creativity, and inspiration, reminding us all of the power of music to express our innermost feelings. His final gift to the world serves as a reminder that even in the face of mortality, art can live on, touching hearts and minds for generations to come. David Bowie was more than a rock star. He was a loving father, a devoted husband, and a true visionary. His final words to his family remind us to cherish those we love. Though he's no longer with us, his music and creativity continue to resonate globally. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Let's keep celebrating the remarkable legacy of David Bowie together. See you next time.